Beneath the Water, a tale of enticement, greed, and lust, Part 2. Every morning, Juma's mother comes out to the river's edge to look for him. Every evening, Juma's wife comes out to look for him. They go back disappointed each time. Their grief is heavy. It's been nearly 4 years since Juma's disappearance. His mother has gotten gray, but she does not fail every morning to come out and look for Juma and kneel down and pray. If not for Juma, for the other fishermen who row out to gather food for their families and for the village. She would not want another family to lose a father or a son to this deceptive river. Juma's wife, Sarah, has not remarried, but now she comes out with a little girl who is 3.5 very wise years old. They look down the river, but they see nothing. Who are they looking for? They are looking for Juma. They are stuck. Their lives are at a standstill. Will the loss of Juma cause the wasting away of his aging mother and his young wife? Will the actions of one rebellious person destroy the lives of so many? Why didn't he listen to the elders? Why didn't he listen to his mother when they told him not to go into the deep parts of the river? One evening just at dusk, as his wife Sarah visits the river, as always in the distance a lone figure appears at the water's edge. It is Juma. He looks almost the same, but different. His eyes hold secrets. His presence feels eerie, as if he has been touched by something beyond this world. Where has he been? Why hasn't he come home? She doesn't see him. She doesn't see him watching her, but the child, a little girl named Imani, who has never even met her father, senses a presence, watching them. Juma's child, now old enough to walk and explore, often plays by the river. The next day, the child starts talking to someone unseen, claiming that Baba is in the water. Her mother's eyes tear up, but she dismisses it as imagination. The following day, Imani wakes up very early to come to the river with her grandmother to see Baba. Her grandmother obliges, but she does not believe that her little granddaughter is seeing anything. That same night, Juma's wife begins having vivid dreams of him. In these dreams, he warns her not to look for him anymore, that he is where the golden fish swim. But one night, she dreams of him calling out for help. He says, "I am stuck here in this water, but I want to come home. Help me, help me." She bolted awake, shocked by the dream. It seemed so real. She gets up at dawn, gathers Imani and runs down to the river looking. What for, she didn't know. She wondered if she was losing her mind. So much grief, for so long. Juma was gone. Or was he? Why were the dreams so vivid after so long? Juma's child has always felt a strange connection to the river. While playing near the water, the child speaks to unseen figures, laughing and whispering as if with an invisible friend. The river spirits have come to the little girl trying to draw her to the water. Imani's mother and grandmother dismiss it as childish imagination, until one day the child walks to the edge of the water and points. Baba is in the water. The river shimmers unnaturally. The breeze stirs. Imani says this so matter-of-factly that it is scary. Baba is in the water. And then she stoops down to continue playing in the sand. That night, under the full moon, the river swells, flooding its banks, even without rain. From the misty waters, a figure emerges. It is Juma, alive, whole, and yet different. His skin glows faintly with an otherworldly sheen. His textured hair is damp, but adorned with golden beads. His eyes, once warm and confident, now hold something ancient and unreadable. He wears strange garments, very elegant, strange garments. Where did he get them? Around his neck glows a pendant pulsing with blue light. Just before daybreak, Juma steps onto the shore. The ground feels familiar, but different at the same time. He walks through the village which he knows from so many years ago, and walks up to the house where his family lives. The same house where he has always lived. He arrives at the front door as Sarah and Amani are on the front porch to go to the river this morning, instead of waiting until evening. Amani, unafraid, runs to Juma yelling, "Baba!" His wife and mother, frozen with shock, can barely breathe. "I have returned." His voice is calm, powerful. Too powerful. Juma had not drowned. The river spirits had taken him, fascinated by his arrogance. He looked important, and he sounded important. Juma never stopped talking and talked his way out of death. When they saw his hair, the sun cast a light on it in such a way that it looked to them as a crown. So, the river was afraid to kill him. Seeing his hair, in the sunlight, they mistook him for a marine king and escorted him to an underwater throne. So they made him their king of their underwater world where time flows differently. He was crowned in the abyss, given power to live there, and authority to rule there. For the first few months, he tried to figure out ways of getting out of there, but then he got comfortable and started to like it. He also lost track of time. Seeing Amani, he had no idea that he had been gone 4 years. 4 years. While in this underwater kingdom, he was brainwashed to think, "This is nice." He reasoned at least he wasn't dead. Well, he didn't think he was dead. For the first few months he missed his family. He missed his mother and his wife. Juma didn't even know that he had a child, but the river spirits knew. He didn't know until he saw Imani with her mother the evening before he came back from the water to the village. When he saw that little girl, he knew without a doubt that was his daughter, his real daughter. Juma hadn't known that his wife was pregnant when he got sucked underwater that day in the deep part of the river while surrounded by crazed crocodiles, river spirits, and probably while a lot of mermaids watched. Mermaids were freaks anyhow. They wanted to party all the time, and they laughed at nearly everything, whether it was funny or not. In the underwater kingdom, the mermaids were all over him. Everyone did what he said, and he lived like a king, doing whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. Juma had riches beyond his wildest dreams. If he wanted more, all they had to do was to target any ship sailing above them with gold or other cargo. They would just crash it with a storm or the large crocodiles and take the loot on the ship. There was endless supply, and everything they seized all belonged to the underwater kingdom. No questions asked. What about the people on these boats and ships that they pirated loot from? They didn't care about the people. The evil marine kingdom doesn't care about that. Let the crocodiles eat them, they'd say while laughing. And the mermaids, I've told you about them. But this lavish lifestyle and all this riches came at a cost to Juma. After all, the crocodiles didn't eat him. Therefore, the river spirits said that Juma owed them. The spirits of the water do not give without expecting something in return. While Juma was their underwater king, the mermaids wanted hybrid children and tried to seduce Juma to impregnate them. But he didn't go for that, not even once. So, the mermaids took his essence from him while he was asleep. He never even knew. Some of the mermaids told him that he had fathered underwater children with them, but he refused to believe them, telling them he had no children with them. Something in him felt that he had a real child, not these make-believe, synthetic fish people want to be children. Juma boldly told them, "Those aren't even real children. And now, they have sent Juma back to the village for a purpose. He has a task to fulfill, one he does not fully understand yet, but he knows he cannot disobey. At his return, the village rejoices. Juma, the lost fisherman, has come home. His wife and mother embrace him, though they sense something off. The elders warn them, this is not the same man who left 4 years ago. The river seems too quiet, shadows dance beneath the water. The golden fish still swim in the deep, and the gold in the underwater kingdom sometimes reflects through the clear water. But no one dares go or row or swim out that far. We all know where Juma has been for the last 4 years, but that's not what he told his family. He told them that a storm had arisen suddenly, his boat capsized, and he must have been hit on the head, washed ashore in some strange place, couldn't remember anything and had been wandering for years. Oh, his wife and mother were so sympathetic. The village was sympathetic, and he received almost a hero's welcome. Juma seemed lucky that way. Until the darkness from the underwater marine kingdom tightens around him. The more lies he tells, the more intense the grip of the underwater marine kingdom forms around him. Juma does not sleep. The earth beneath his feet burn. The bottoms of his feet burn when they touch the soil. He walks the village at night, staring at the people as most of them sleep and dream. And sometimes, when the moon is high, his eyes glow the color of deep water. He does not remember everything, but whispers fill his mind, echoes of the Spirit's command. Bring them to the water. Who is he supposed to bring? His family? The whole village? He doesn't know. But the pull of the river grows stronger. One night his child wakes up and sees him standing at the door. Baba, the child says drowsily, are you leaving us again? Juma kneels, his expression softening. No, little one. He whispers, this time, I'm taking you with me. That surprised Juma when he said it. But then he realized that must be his assignment. Juma, bound by the Spirit's command, and as if in a trance, in the still of the night, takes sleeping Imani up in his arms and walks toward the river. The village sleeps, unaware of what is unfolding in the dead of night. The river is unnaturally still, waiting for him. Mist swirls over the water, and the deep abyss seems to glow with eerie blue light. The spirits whisper in his mind, bring the child to us, seal the pact, our water kingdom must grow. He steps into the water with Imani. The child, half asleep, murmurs, Baba, where are we going? Juma hesitates. Deep inside, something fights against the spirit's control. The love he once had, the human part of him is fighting the spirits, but the spirits tighten their grip. His body is no longer his own. As the cold water touches the child's feet, the little one instinctively clasps her hands together and begins to pray, not knowing why, only that something feels wrong. The child whispers, please God, don't let Baba take me. Out of the mouth of babes, this little girl's prayer continues. Please God, don't let Baba take me. As she prays, a pulse of golden light flashes around the child's small body, rippling through the water like a shockwave. The river recoils. Juma staggers back, gripping his head as if in pain. The spirits scream. Inside the village, Imani's mother, Sarah, feels something is wrong. A mother's instinct is never wrong. She wakes up in a cold sweat and looks for her child. She is not there. Juma is not there. Without a second thought, she runs, barefoot, heart pounding, toward the river. Grandmother is close behind her. Juma's mother has been awake all night. in her own room quietly praying. She kneels on the riverbank, her hands lifted toward the heavens, her voice trembling but strong. Lord of the heavens, protect this child. Do not let the spirits take another from us. The sky rumbles. The wind changes. The water, once silent, begins to churn violently. The battle has begun. From the depths of the river, monstrous forms begin to emerge. Shadowy figures with glowing eyes, their bodies made of water and mist. These are the river spirits, ancient and angry, screaming for their prize. The prize is not Juma, their king. The prize is Imani. When the river spirits took Juma, they were trying to keep Sarah from even becoming pregnant. But they were too late. Juma didn't know that Sarah was pregnant. Sarah didn't even know. They had hoped the trauma of losing Juma would also make her lose Imani. But they were too late. Imani was strong and already on the way. In the sky above, something else stirs. A bright, blinding light cracks through the darkness, wings unfold from the heavens. Ethereal figures of pure light descend. Angels, warrior angels. Their presence makes the spirits shrink back, hissing in rage. The river crashes violently as two worlds collide. The spirits still hold on to Juma, but the light of the angels weakens their grip on Juma. His wife runs to the riverbank crying out, "Imani! Imani! Juma, come back! Bring me my baby! Juma! Fight them! You are not theirs, cries Juma's mother, stopping her prayers only for a moment. Juma looks at his child, still glowing with divine light, still praying. Something inside him breaks. The memories come rushing back. His love for his wife, his mother, and now his child. He remembers who he is. The spirits shriek as they realize that they are losing him. We made you a king. You belong to us. But Juma grits his teeth, his body trembling as he turns against them. I belong to them. And hands Imani over to her mother, who has reached him in the river. Juma wants to turn to go back to shore with his real family, but knows that he must fight these spirits, or they will harass him and his family continually. With all his strength, he turns to go fight the river spirits. Angels wrap Imani in a swirl of golden light. She absolutely glows, and she is safe in her mother's arms as Sarah turns back for the shore. The grandmother lets out a final prayer, her voice strong, unwavering. In the name of the Almighty, take your hands off my son. Lose your power over him. At that point, Juma realizes the source of their power over him is that necklace. He rips the glowing blue stone necklace from his neck. He throws it back to them in the river, but it lands on a rock. The angels who have kept their eye on this amulet throughout the battle zap it with lightning and thunder and fire and destroy it. This blue stone held powers that were used for evil and extreme evil. It had to be destroyed. And it was. The river spirits and mermaids shriek and yell, "But you are our king. We have your children." Juma yells back, "I have no mermaid children. I never touched any of you, not even once. Let everything mermaid, merman, merpeople like that blue stone be destroyed with lightnings and fire, and never bother me again." A brilliant explosion of light erupts from the river. The spirits scream, twisting and writhing as they are weakened severely. As the last of the river spirits shriek in defiance, their watery forms twist and surge toward the depths as they try to escape back into the deep. Oh, they think they never should have come. They never should have tried to get Imani, whom they wanted to destroy. But the angels do not allow it. The angels did not allow any of it. 3 mighty angels, towering and luminous, each raises a golden chain glowing with divine fire. With a single motion, the chains whip through the water, wrapping around the spirits, binding them. The river itself trembles at the power unleashed. The spirits scream, thrashing, begging to be set free. But their time has come. You have tormented this land long enough. The angel's voice booms. No more will you claim lives. No more will you rule these waters and terrorize these people. The sky splits open. A great chasm of blinding light appears above the river. By the decree of the Almighty, you are banished from these waters forever. The chains tighten. The spirits are dragged upward, pulled from the river like mist caught in a whirlwind. They twist, writhe, and shriek in fury, but they cannot resist. The angels cast them into outer darkness. The spirits vanish into the black void, sealed away for eternity. Juma, weak but alive, watches the river in awe. He feels the change in his soul, the weight that once clung to him, the whispers, the pull of the water. It is gone. He kneels in the sand, looking at the river like a man seeing it for the first time. Tears fall from his eyes. 4 years of his life that river took, and all because of his own disobedience and greed. After catching his breath, Juma says, "Mama, Sarah, and Imani, I'm so sorry I brought all this trouble to you." "It is over," his mother whispers. His wife kneels beside him. Their child kneels looking at her Baba. She is small but strong, and there is something very special about her and her prayers. It is just about daybreak. The darkest hour has passed. A deep silence falls over the land. The air is thick with power, as if nature itself is holding its breath. Then, slowly, the river changes. The murky, haunted depths become crystal clear. The unnatural shadows that once lurked beneath the surface are gone. The golden fish, symbols of temptation and greed, are no more. Instead, life returns. Small fish dart through the water. The river plants sway gently, unburdened for the first time in centuries. The curse that had tainted the river for generations is broken. For the first time in years, the people of the village step onto the shore without fear. Imani, in childlike innocence, says, "Baba, the water is happy now." Juma looks at his child, filled with love, deeper than words. He pulls his family into his arms, vowing to never leave them again. When the sun rises, the entire village gathers at the river banks. For years they had feared these waters, had mourned the lives it had taken. But now, there is joy. Children wade into the shallows without worry. Fishermen return with nets full of abundant fish. The elders bless the waters, knowing the river is finally theirs again. Drums sound. Songs rise into the sky. The river has been restored, redeemed. And Juma stands among them, not a fisherman, not a lost soul, but a man who came back from the deep and was given a second chance. He looks at the water, no longer a prisoner to its call. The spirits are gone. The river is home again. The end. If you liked this episode of Africa Untold Tales, then let us know by hitting the like button, and be sure to share and subscribe to this channel to hear more exciting stories where legends come alive.